Hey, it's Toby and Sean.
We're back. We're going to do some more reviews that you may hate, that you'll probably not like. But it's our opinion and it's what we want to say. I'm just kidding.
I got some things I want to get off my chest.
Yeah, this started
serious
off.
issues.
Mm-hmm.
No, so, the most serious is Sean played a show, right?
Yeah.
Sean now has a band called Party Organ, who I have not seen yet. How many shows have you played?
I think we played like 6 shows. Our first show was a house show at the bass player Dave's house, out in the backyard. So that was fun. And we were a 2-piece. We've since gotten a keyboard player, Stephanie. She kills it. She also plays bass and Experience. And yeah, we played our last show a couple nights ago on January 1st at Valhalla with Richard, a band fronted by a guy named Brian, who is also in a band called Brian, and a really young band called the King's Lovely. So, yeah.
King's Lovely and Richard.
Yeah. Richard was really good. They reminded me a lot of, like, Dicks. Really just great, basic, no frills, punk rock in your face, singer getting off the stage, walking into the crowd, really good stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I think those guys, Richard.
Awesome. And so we'll just get to it then. The first thing I was going to discuss today is this. The new album by Neil Young entitled Barn.
Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Neil Young and Crazy Horse, right? So that's my favorite incarnation of Neil Young, who's got like a few styles, you know. He's got the country style like on Harvest, and then sometimes he goes arty, you know. He's gone rockabilly. He had the horn band. By the way, I've watched a lot of, I probably won't do any ranking the album shows. I'll just tell you what I think is best. But there's a lot of ranking the album shows on Neil Young, and they rank, how many albums does he have?
He's got 41 studio albums, and this is the 14th album by Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Okay, they always put this notes for you at the bottom, every single one of them, and I'm going to tell you that album's not that bad. It's pretty good.
It shouldn't be number 41?
Hell fucking no, it shouldn't be. I can think of some worse ones right off the bat. But okay. Sorry. That being said, the last Neil Young album I listened to was Ragged Glory, which is also a Crazy Horse album. I learned to play guitar out of a Neil Young Decade songbook, so I learned all my original chords from Neil Young songs and on acoustic guitar, so I'm a big fan. I like the Crazy Horse stuff best. I like, my favorite album is Zuma. I like Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. I like On the Beach a lot. I like the Crazy Horse stuff the best. Well, he's also got his Crosby, Stills, Nash, you know, folky style. So anyway, getting to that, I'm sure you're dying to know what I think of Barn. I love Barn. I think it's great. I think it's I mean, what did you think? Let's hear it.
All right, yeah. I mean, I like this record in bits and pieces. I have a few tracks that really stand out. There's a bunch of sleepers on there. Sleepers meaning songs that will actually put you to sleep, not songs that are like you didn't expect them to be rockers. Because I know that can go either way. But you know, and some of the songs, some are pretty rocking, and some have a great guitar tone that really. So there's a song called Human Race on there, and I think it really lends to like a Dead Moon type of guitar tone. Like I was getting like Fred Cole type of vibes, and even like maybe a little Rocky Erickson and Alien Bleed, like sprinkled in there somewhere with some of the harmonies. in a few of those songs. So, not every song's a hit. The first song, if you can make it through the first song, the rest of the record is not bad. It's not bad at all. So that's my take on it.
Okay, so yeah, that's great. I agree with you. For the most part, song of the season's the first song. He starts off with a slow one, but that being said, there's nothing on here that's like Rockin' in the Free World or Cinnamon Girl or My Hey Hey Electric Version or Drive Back or Barstool Blues or anything like that. There's a lot of songs, the rockin' ones that sound great, the fucking playing's great, the guitar tones are incredible. He's got the best equipment. And so, I think it sounds awesome, but there's a lot of slow, really loud songs that are kind of like Danger Bird on Zuma, okay. That being said, Nils Lofgren plays guitar on this. So it's Crazy Horse, but the guy Poncho, who played guitar since Danny Whitten died in the early 70s, is not in the band anymore. They've got Nils Lofgren, who's of course been playing with Bruce Springsteen for 3 decades, and Nils Lofgren played with Neil Young before Bruce Springsteen, and he had his own band and has a bunch of solo albums.
With Crazy Horse or just Neil Young? Solo?
No, he played. Yeah, I had a video that I used to watch, and it was from the early '80s. It was from the Trans tour, like when you did that song "Computer Age," and they were singing through I keep wanting to call them vocoder effects, but I'm sure that's not what it was. It was just they were singing through effects, and it was like a computer concept album, or probably Neil Young one is most arty. And I know that Nils Lofgren was on that tour playing lead guitar and singing almost co-lead vocals on a lot of those songs. That was early 80s.
Who could you compare that to?
He'd been hanging out with Devo and stuff.
Wow.
And, so and
that's
then
awesome.
you can that tribute album that came out in the late 80s, Sonic Youth does that song Computer Age, which is probably the most memorable song on the album.
Gotcha.
Trans. Yeah. So
I have to say though, if there's a solid rock ballad anthem on this record, it's Heading West.
Heading West is great.
Yeah.
That one gets stuck in my head. I like Welcome Back. There's a song, it's Tumbling Through the Years, that actually starts, you gotta sing, it's like, well, I was walking down the road.
I was walking down the road. I'm getting old. I'm tumbling down the road. There it is. That's my...
So
we will upload an entire video of me doing all these reviews in Neil Young singing speech.
Your original band had a "Well, I Was Walking Down the Road" song.
Yeah.
What was that called?
Yeah, we were the. I think it might have been Violent Jelly Beans, and the first lyrics of our first song were "I was walking down the road. I was walking really fast."
Sing it.
Yeah. I was walking down the road. I was walking real fast. Yep. So I don't know.
One of my friends told me when I was starting my first band, he's like, "Don't write a song with "Well, I Was Walking." There's your first one.
Yeah. Every great artist has a song about walking.
It reeks of my first song, but of course this is his 10 millionth song, so I'm not gonna. I feel like an asshole critiquing anything Neil Young does at this point, because I learned to play from his songbook,
Right.
But so he does a little bit of everything on this. There's I want every song to sound like fucking Crazy Horse turned up to 10, and a few songs sound like that, but not every song sounds like that. He kind of represents the CSN style, because I guess those guys are feuding and he'll never get back with them. And the song Canarican really stops the album in its tracks. Song 4. I have strong feelings about sequencing, and I think the best song on the album should be the fourth song. I think it should all build up to, I mean, you know, it should open with four bangers that everyone can get into, and I think the also build up to the fourth song. That being said, you'll be expecting the fourth song on whatever I put out next to be like all that, and it may or may not be because I just have one vote in that. But I mean, all the songs are all that.
But you know,
On
the
the
next
Yardwork
Yardwork
album.
record, Toby's got a strong vote for number 4. So just remember,
We're
somewhere
arguing
around
about
3 and
sequencing right
6.
now. Not arguing, but discussing sequencing right now. Yeah, we all have great opinions. But yeah, Canary, okay, so it's real political, and it's one of those things where it's like, I personally agree with pretty much whatever Neil Young's saying, but like, he gets to where he just wants to make his point, and he's a cranky old guy, and he doesn't care about rhyming or being catchy or, you know, making a hummable tune. He's just gonna like put it out there, you know, and
Canarican's cool because it's like this is
see,
all these songs
he
are
likes
stories,
it, right?
Yeah. So all these songs he sings are stories, but they're all stories, and Canarican's pretty cool. It just basically talks about him growing up in Canada and then wanting to come to the United States to like join a rock band, of course.
I read his book Shaky that came out like 10, 15 years ago, and the story is that he was coming from Winnipeg or Toronto, and they were crossing the border, and this is like 1966, and they told the guy at the border that they were actually driving to Vancouver, but the roads are so much better in America that they just wanted to drive on our roads, and then they were going to cross back over. And then the guy was like, "Whoa, of course, we have the best roads." And then he couldn't leave the U.S. for quite a while when Buffalo Springfield was going on, and
right.
Oh yeah, so in that book, one thing that was really interesting, I thought, was that he was sinking all his money. There's a lot that's interesting. It's a good book, but it definitely didn't have a ghostwriter, and like he's kind of circular, like I am in my conversation, and I might bring up the same thing twice, and but you actually feel like you've been hanging out with Neil Young after about 800 pages of this. You know, like I feel like I know him. I know I don't, but after reading this book, anyway, at the time he was sinking all his money into something called Pono, which was okay. Neil Young hates CDs. He likes vinyl. He's really persnickety about sound quality. He always hated the digital sound of CDs. And then when he started hearing downloads, he just thought it was intolerable. So he started putting out this new product, and this is like 15 years ago, that was like this high quality downloads, and he was sinking a lot of money into it, and he has this convertible that's all tricked out with this sound system in it, and he says the sound's incredible.
Wait, if he doesn't like downloads, then I don't understand what this is then. Like, if he's against like downloading the sound quality from downloaded music, he's got a new medium that he uses to download music or something?
Yeah, he's just like, because I mean, well, part of the I have CDs because I don't like the sound quality of downloads.
Right.
I mean, so I have tinnitus really badly, and like I have a lot of records, but as I've gotten older, I'm really intolerant of surface noise, so like I actually prefer the sound of CDs. Plus, you can get CDs really cheap right now. But I mean, I can turn the camera and you see I have a shit ton of vinyl, but you'll probably see that later on. Yeah. So I mean, if I really like something, I want to buy a copy of it because I want to hear it in as good a sound as possible.
I want to ride Neil Young's car.
Yeah, it sounds real nice. So he sunk all this money into it, and he had these high-profile commercials with like Flea hanging out in his, convertible.
Wow.
Like rocking out to Miles Davis, saying, "I can't believe how great this sounds, man. This is the best," And it's like, but so anyway. I didn't know how there's a lot of tech companies in the game, when you're trying to sell a whole format of downloads, obviously. So anyway, I didn't hear any more about that because it sounded like in the book he was sinking every cent he had in it. And then like 3 years ago, I was like, whatever happened to Pono? I haven't heard anything of Pono. And I tried to look it up, and my laptop or my phone wouldn't believe me that I wasn't trying to look for porno. It was just like, it's like, hey buddy, I know what you're trying to find. That's kind of tricky to spell. Let's help you out here.
I'm looking for Pono.
No, I'm looking for Pono.
I want some Pono on my phone.
So not only
That's how some people spell it. I don't know.
Pono. Yeah,
Yeah.
turn on the Pono.
Depends on what part of the country you're from.
So that was probably a poor choice of names.
Yeah, and I think that Neil Young probably had a bunch of yes men, around him when he came up with that name, and he was like, "Hey guys, what do you think of Pono?" And oh yeah, Neil, that's a great name. And then they were like, "Man, this is a bad idea, but we can't tell Neil because he's a crotchety old fuck. I don't want to get into a fight." And then it happened and it went nowhere. So I don't know. That's a great name, right?
Fortunately, Neil can go play some arenas and generate more income real fast,
Yeah,
But it was a poor choice of names, Pono. It made me think of, there was a point when Asia put out their 30th anniversary album, and it was supposed to be called Asia 30, but it was called but they put the 30 in Roman numerals, so it was called Asia XXX. It was the name of their box set they had coming out, which is like,
I want that on Pono. That's a slick move,
Yeah, right.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, you gotta think about the Google search these days. You can't call your band Texas Instruments or, whatever was cool back then that we thought was edgy, but, now you're just fucked,
Right, absolutely. When you mentioned Asia, I don't know why I thought that you were going to start mentioning geography and the type of landmass that's known as a Pono. That's where my mind
Oh,
was going.
yeah.
I think it's the coffee. I don't know. Yeah. So Asia formed into a Pono 30 million years ago. Sorry.
Asia, Europe, Boston,
Kansas. Yeah.
New England,
We're just another band.
Texas, that's a band, right?
Texas, yeah.
They're from Scotland.
Are they old?
That was in the 90s.
Huh.
They would be on Mexican MTV a lot when I lived there.
Oh,
Texas.
wow.
They had a song with Wu-Tang on it too.
What?
It was very pop. I was like, I can't believe Wu-Tang's on this, but they were. So we were going to talk about the Exodus album, Persona Non Grata. So, a little bit, I'm going to talk, this definitely has way more to do with me than with Exodus. I had this album pre-ordered for a long time. It came out in November. And like 2 weeks before the album came out, Exodus' singer, Steve Zetro Souza, he came out with a lot of political stuff I don't believe in. It was kind of like a lot of pro-Trump sentiment, a lot of it appeared to me, I just read the headline, to be anti-vaccine, to be more fair to him, his anti-vaccine mandate. But I had Christmas coming up. I had money I wanted to spend on shopping, and their CD was coming out, and like you had to buy a 2-disc set, even though I'm pretty sure all the music's on one CD. It's an hour long, so I didn't want to buy that, and I canceled my pre-order, so there's me participating in cancel culture, if you want to call it that. But really, in truth, the only vote you have is where you spend your money. But that being said, Gary Holt from Exodus, had to come out once again and be like, I don't think what he thinks, and then Exodus, like a lot of other bands, is probably like your family, in that there's some people, I mean, shit's pretty divisive right now, and I mean, there's a lot of bands like Gary Holt and Exodus had the same issue when he was in Slayer with Tom Araya. Tom's a big trumper, but like Kerry King and Gary Holt are not, and so Tom would come up like, it'd been like Slayer had a song called Ditto Head in the early '90s. I'm like, I felt like, okay, someone's watching Rush Limbaugh,
Yeah.
and so anyway, Tom, as these guys get older and they don't give a shit anymore, the politics, things you think might have been tongue in cheek or I'm singing from a perspective about that. And it's like, nah,
It's a little more real.
it's not like that. And so Gary Holt's had to do this in both bands where he makes a lot of money. Come out there and say like, well, I don't think what my boss thinks, and Slayer and, Kerry King had to do that. But some bands I really love are like that. Exene came out with some like Alex Jones kind of shit,
What?
and it's,
I didn't know that.
yeah, that was a few years ago. It wasn't on the East.
That's the last person I would
First
think
off,
that
let
would
me
do something
let me
like
make
that.
a point. Like, I'm not trying to tell people to stay apolitical, but like, if you have an album coming out in a week, don't be real divisive. I mean, if I was invested in a bunch of Girl Scout cookies for my daughter and we're gonna go out there and sell a big box of them, I'm not gonna stand out front and be like, Antifa, motherfuckers, Like, I wanna sell cookies to everybody. And I'm not saying, I mean, a lot of my favorite bands are real political, and Exodus has gotten more political, but they're more like thought-provoking seriousness, because you can't always write a song about starting a pit when you're like getting to be like 60 or whatever they were singing about in the 80s. But so yeah. Okay, so Exene came out with some crazy, like, it sounded like she'd been watching Alex Jones all day. And then it seemed like they told her to shut up or whatever. And
Like the band? Like,
I don't know what happened. I act like I'm some kind of insider. I know that she quit talking about politics, like soon after. We don't know. I haven't heard a peep from her about this in 3 years. And I've seen X twice in that time,
Right. Do you think, can I just ask
Uh-huh.
real quick, do you think that you would be more tolerant of people's music despite their political views if in their music and vocals they didn't like proliferate their views? Like if they're just singing about general topics, and not singing like with a political mindset, is that more digestible to you, or does it matter like that Exene has said all this, or someone has spoken pro-Trump rhetoric in some form or fashion, and then they created a kick-ass record that has nothing to do with that? Like, does it matter either way if it's part of their medium as an artist or not?
Wow. Okay. So, well, with X, like, I've known for a long time, like, that I would not want to get in a political discussion with Billy Zoom. You can just tell, whatever. I mean,
Right.
that he just doesn't seem like he doesn't even like the rest of those people, but they sound so great together. They're one of my favorite bands to see live. Your question was, well, I mean, shit. I mean, you feel validated if everyone's on the same page,
Right. Here, I'll make it simple.
Uh-huh.
And I mentioned to this to
Uh-huh.
you earlier. Like Michael Jackson isn't singing about like buttholes, little kids' buttholes.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. He doesn't sing about anything like that. Anything that he's gotten in trouble for, or we know about him that would make us not enjoy him, as an artist. But where's that separation? Anyway, yeah. It's tough,
Michael
right?
Jackson's a weird one because he's so ingrained in our culture that, like, I work in a school and I see firsthand that little kids love those songs right off the bat without being told to every time. Every new year of kids, there's something about anything from Off the Wall or Thriller bad even, you know, whatever, you know. So you know, okay, so I have tickets to see Exodus, and I'm going if COVID, and they're doing COVID testing, even though Zetro done like COVID mandates. Like that whole tour got COVID. That tour's been postponed 2 or 3 times. It's Exodus, Death Angel, and Testament, and I've never seen any of those bands. And I bought tickets. Me and Daniel are gonna go, and hopefully, if COVID isn't too crazy, but it's been postponed once again. And I'm stoked to see Exodus. I'm happy to give that tour my money. I'm happy to see it, even if I don't go. Oh, I'm not gonna ask for a refund.
Right.
You know. So no, I love Exodus. My favorite Exodus, as I say on the other Martin Popoff show, Contrarian Opinion, would be, sorry, sue me, would be Shovelheaded Kill Machine. And, you know, when I didn't, this album's great. And it has Rob Dukes on it, who's their third singer. Okay, so I didn't really get into, the first Exodus I heard was like Toxic Waltz, A Fabulous Disaster. Mm-hmm. And like now I think songs about starting a mosh pit are cool, but I thought that was really corny in the late 80s.
Yeah.
I took myself a little bit more seriously than that, I guess. But like, no, by all means, write a song about starting a mosh pit.
It's amazing how much music you will start liking when you don't take yourself seriously. You know? Like, it opens up a whole realm of
well,
possibilities.
it has so much. Like, if you cling to your like high school persona, fashion choice, and all the bands that match your shoes that go along with it,
right?
You'll stay limited. Yeah, I'd still be on here discussing Sonic Youth and Public Enemy and going down the ship with fucking REM or whatever I was listening to back then. But I wasn't on board with Exodus, and I kind of got on late once they started up again with, what's this, 2006, whatever. Rob Dukes was more hardcore, and of course, you know, my background is more punk rock, you know, so I like hardcore vocalists, so I really like this album with Death Amphetamine. I think they still do that song. And then this album, when I didn't buy Persona Non Grata, which by the way, I'm probably going to buy because that album's awesome, right? And this album, Tempo of the Damned, that has Zetro on it, he's been problematic. Like when this album came out in the early 2000s, very early 2000s, they were supposed to go on this Metal Titans tour with like Halford and someone. Those were hard times for metal, right? But South America, which South America was still all the way into metal, but like he like disappeared on the band, like on the eve of, like they had to cancel this tour.
No
like he
way.
really he spent
that
was in 2004. He spent years apologizing publicly to that band. Oh, and he had a band with his sons called Hatred, which is like, I don't even want to know what Hatred's about.
Oh, it's Hatred? I thought it was Patriot.
No, it's Hatred.
That's even worse.
But anyway, there is nothing on Persona Non Grata that offended my sissy ass in the least bit. It's a great, I mean, if you like fucking Exodus, you like thrash, it's a fucking great album. And I don't know, I mean, if I was gonna put on an Exodus album right now, I'd put on that one because it's fresh and I hadn't heard it before. And
the first song, which is the title track of the record, Persona Non Grata, just smashes you right in the face. And I got Tom Hunting does an amazing job. Like, that guy just destroys the drums throughout that entire record. He kills it.
It's Riff City, you know, you can tell like they've been writing riffs for whatever it's been, 5-6 years since their last album.
So Zetro, so look, I wrote when he was in the band. He was in the band for 10 years, from 86 to 96, left 2002 to 2004. We know what happened in 2004 now. He ghosted the band.
Yeah.
And then 2014 to now. So I wonder if his issues have always been like, well, I guess we know what the one in 04 was.
Well, there's their first singer, Paul Beloff was like a super crazy dude. You know, he died of like too much speed real early on. I don't know, Zetro. Whatever, that's fine. He, you know, like I shouldn't care what people. Like I just figure that AC/DC and Van Halen are a bunch of Republicans, and I don't give a shit. And they're smart enough to not come out there and like on the eve of their album release and talk a bunch of politics, And I love Alice Cooper. He's a total right winger. I mean, I've seen Ted Nugent. It was awful. I saw him open for Kiss in 2000, and he kept saying the most divisive shit. And like half the Irwin Center was cheering and half was booing. And then he did a really, really awful song called Kiss My Ass, where it's just him yelling out the names of politicians and left-wing celebrities he hates in between the band, yelling, "Kiss my ass."
Wow.
Hillary Clinton, kiss my ass. Like, it was the worst shit I'd ever seen. I would never give any money to, I just don't like him at all. He's such an asshole. But I mean, his record sales reflect that. So the thing I'm saying is, like, no one's gonna buy a heavy metal record based on the fucking politics, right? Like, when my knee-jerk reaction when I canceled my pre-order, right? I was like, well, this CD probably isn't for me, But he doesn't sing about any of that shit. Who knows what context that interview came out of? And it's just there's all kinds of I don't really care when I'm rocking out to something, I mean, my favorite, one of my favorite bands is Napalm Death, and I pretty much agree with everything they say. I'm not saying I'm apolitical, but there's definitely people I'm not sending money to this year, like Van Morrison, Eric Clapton, this anti-vax shit can get really divisive, I'm just trying to, it's a hard time in general, and I've been trying not to watch any of the cable news. I don't, I quit watching any of the pundits. I was watching them on both sides, but they're pretty much trying to get you incensed about what the other pundits said, or, pointing out the worst. It's just really divisive. I'm trying to just read newspapers now, and it's just like we're in such a bad state right now of people vilifying each other that I don't really want to participate in that, But that being said, cancel culture was invented by conservative Christians. I mean, think of like the fucking stomping the Beatles albums, Elvis, we're gonna go to the Dixie Chicks, Colin Kaepernick, and it wasn't even called cancel culture till people with another set of values started using the same tactics, to not support people that they don't want to give money to. Like, all these people, I don't think any of these, like, I just don't want to send you my money. I worked for it, or, for the most part. And it's really the only direct vote of confidence you have. And maybe if Exodus sees that their pre-orders slipped because of that, maybe they'll, tell and be like X and Exene and be like, come on, shut up. We're trying to sell some records,
Yeah.
But I'm not, whatever. It sounds like I want people to shut up who don't agree with me, but I don't know. There's certain things I'm pretty intolerant of, and spreading misinformation about COVID, or, saying that January 6th was just a bunch of guys trying to look at art in the Capitol. I mean, I'm intolerant of that, so that being said, now that I've brought this to a total bummer, we got a local release. We got Pussy Gillette. It's got 18 songs. This is trashy. This is garagey. This is awesome. I've been listening to it, like all my friends who like on the garage punk websites who, you know, are still talking about all the trashy bands in the 90s. That it seems like that scene's kind of dried up. I know I'm probably unhip and I seem to have turned my back on a lot of it because I'm talking about death metal and country or whatever else I'm talking about that's not garage rock, even though I know, you know, what I'm known for is garage punk or whatever.
I mean, god damn you, Toby, you've only dedicated 15 years of your life to garage rock, you know? Like, fuck, dude.
I just
How dare you listen to death metal?
I like, anyway, I'm not even gonna, I like this record, and if you like all that stuff, you should like it too, because it's raw, it's got kick-ass purple vinyl.
Nice.
And I've been rocking it, and it's raw as shit. It's got not a garagey vibe, but a really trashy. There's like some trashy lead guitar. I kept on saying, "What's this sound like? Mystic Records, hardcore? What was? It's not hardcore. It's punk rock. It's trashy. It sounds like sleazy porno soundtrack rock. I don't know. Like there's some
Fuck yeah.
Summer Cruise, Nathan. Okay, so without getting into history, Nathan gets into a little. He opens with like a Montrose Bad Motor Scooter, you know, this tribute thing. It's awesome. So okay, so
it's like Pono rock.
it's Pono. Man, put this on your Pono.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Brent, Nathan. So this sounds nothing like in Masani. I know Brent and Nathan, and it sounds nothing like their other bands. So don't have the Cherubs or We Are the Asteroid in mind when you listen to this. It's this whole different thing. Nathan recorded it on a 4-track. It's a very lo-fi production. I guess that's why I was thinking about all my friends from the 90s. It's got the vocals and bass playing of Masani Camacho, who I met once at a fuck emo show, but it was so loud I thought she was telling me her name was Courtney. It's Masani. I'm just deaf as shit. I've got such horrible tinnitus is a bitch. Wear your earplugs, kids.
You sleep with a fan on?
I sleep with shit on. Yeah, I mean, I usually like a movie, anything. People droning on. I actually sleep with videos like this on, where it's like
I was gonna say we can
too
sleep with our
boring
videos.
middle. Yeah, no. If it wasn't me talking,
Yeah.
this would put my ass right out. Like two guys talking about records. Yeah, that puts me in my happy place. Hence, here we are. This album's great. What songs did you like, Sean?
I really like Willing. I really like Jane Pettibon, which is the second song. And then I like Wild Nights and Lucky. Lucky was a lot of fun too.
Hot, Cabron,
Yeah.
Summer Cruise, Surf City, Better and Better. So two of the guys in the band have been playing longer than me, which is a while, you know, but I used to see Nathan play at the Cavity and Chain Drive. If you see the Chain Drive album on Monkey Boy, you should get that, and because it's a really relic of the 90s, but it's pretty rocking. It's pretty raw and rocking too. So this might sound a little bit more like that than either of the other bands. We Are the Asteroid, who's like a hard psychedelic band. The Cherubs, which are like a noise band, and you probably have heard both those bands if you're watching this. But this is different. This is like primitive
Pono rock.
primitive Pono rock.
It's great. Yeah. It's fun. It's primitive. It's lo-fi. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's rock and roll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's good stuff. I recommend everyone get it. They're on Bandcamp. So the other shit, I don't need to tell you where to pick it up because wherever, they've got better distribution than we do. You got any plans, Sean? You gonna do anything? Go see any shows coming up?
I don't have any plans for any shows. I was excited about the shows that you knew of. So
I'm going to
connected.
see Sex Pump and Brontosaurus, hopefully at the Parlor. If the weather, hopefully, if I'm not too weirded out by the crowd. Like, I'm telling, come on down to the show. But if there's too many people, I'm going to split because I'm a total germaphobe. But come on down. But I might, don't bring all your friends because then I'm going to split. See, it's kind of like, whatever.
Make sure you accommodate Toby's sensitivity factor, germs. Keep in mind. He's got,
No, but man, if you can find the Sex Pump CD that came out a couple of years ago, it's one of my favorite records of. Well, that's 2020. I guess that now is a couple of years ago.
Wow.
All right, so we're gonna play our song.
Yeah, we're gonna do the
All
song.
right,
We figured it out.
That's 40 minutes. All right, I'm gonna point this over here. You see my records and shit. All right, there's a few. Hey, my CDs are in chronological order. That's only taken me like 2 years to try to get my records. And, it's so stupid looking up release dates and it's a really great use of your time. Yeah, I really recommend everyone do it.
I don't think I'm plugged in.
You know, I plugged that. Here we go. Oh, hey, if you like this song.
Oh my God.
The Secret Lovers with me and Dave Head and Sean. All right, 1999.
At its finest.
This is actually a good song if you listen to the record, but we're going to play it like this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.